Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I'm doing a review of a wine dinner that happened at Quattro restaurant in Whistler. So Quattro is located inside the Pinnacle Hotel Whistler at 4319 Main Street in Whistler. And it was a dinner that was part of Whister Cornucopia, and the presenting winery was Allegrini Wines from the Valpolicella region in Italy. Now, I won't go through those wines in detail. I'll talk about them just briefly. And if you want to know more about those wines, you can look at my wine related video on my wine YouTube channel, Trophy Wine Hunter. I'll put that at the end of this video and you can get a more sense of it. But I hadn't been to Quattro for many years, and just comparing to another restaurant in Whistler, Il Caminetto, I think both are excellent restaurants, very authentic. Caminetto, I think, is more modern and a little bit more kind of business oriented. This is Quattro is much more homey and very rustic and really just good, wholesome Italian food. So this is a copy of the wine dinner. It was a wonderful 5-course dinner, and I'll go through each of the courses. I really enjoyed the food, and you'll see through the menu what I mean by it's more rustic and more kind of homey, homemade type Italian food, not as corporate as Il Caminetto. The first course was arancini al amarone. So arancini is a Sicilian street food of risotto that's rolled into a ball, stuffed with cheese, breaded, and fried until crispy. And so this is really nice. It's got guacamole, jam, sour cherry, and lardo. And you can see the inside of it is very nice. I think it did contain a little bit of meat in there. It's just a really nice dish. And again, not something you normally see at, other Italian restaurants. You're thinking, common Italian restaurants would be spaghetti and pasta and lasagna. These are very specialized items, and I really enjoyed that. Everything that I had was very, very authentic and kind of things that I'd not seen before. The wine pairing for this course was a 2024 Valpolicella DOC. I won't go a lot into this wine, but the Valpolicella region is known for hearty rustic wines, which is perfect with this type of food. This wine was slightly chilled and a little bit lighter, but had a kind of a cherry, red cherry or sour cherry flavor to it, taste to it, and it went really well with the sauce, that the bright cherry sauce that had this. And then when we talk about cherry, it's still a savory cherry sauce on the arancini, and it just went very well. Next course is the olive oil poached branzino. So branzino is also known as European sea bass. It's a mild white fish native to the Mediterranean Sea. And people like it because it's delicate, it's mild flavor, and it's a great choice for people who don't like fishy taste. It's lean, firm, and flaky. And you can see by the way it's cooked in the next photo that it's really tender. You can just tell by the photo that this fish is very tender. And it's just light, but it also went very well with the wine pairing. The pairing with the branzino was the 2024 Lugana DOC Bianco. This is a white wine from the Lugana region. This wine is produced from a grape variety called Trebbiano or Trebbiano de Suave. Very light, but I actually like the pairing very much because branzino is light. They had an olive oil poached branzino, so kind of mild in flavor. So this is not going to overpower the fish. Very aromatic, but kind of peachy, a little bit citrusy, but not an overpowering wine. So I would say light to medium bodied. Third course is tortellini al funghi, which is a classic Italian dish. Tortellini pasta served with mushroom sauce. I believe inside the tortellini was mascarpone cheese. There's morels, and there's a little pancetta also, and the grolla succo, which uses the wine as part of the sauce. So really nice dish, very thick sauce, and that gives you that heartiness. Again, I think that's the kind of what this restaurant is known for. Very hearty Italian food. Really kind of think winter, and just really nice, intense sauces. It was paired with Lagrola 2020. It's a Veronese IGT wine made 90% Corvina, 10% Ostaletta grapes, a lot of black plums, black cherries, violets, so a little bit of tobacco in the aftertaste. Really a nice pairing to a nice hearty sauce, the sauce here, and a little bit of the cheese in the tortellini. As you see, we're getting heavier and heavier in terms of the food, but you need heavier and heavier wines, and we are also doing that with the wine pairing. So it was an excellent wine pairing and really showed off the wines very well. So the next course, this is the juniper cured duck breast with gnocchi, smoked red cabbage, and Madeira juice. Again, very thick flavors, very intense. I actually like this very much. There's a bit of sweetness with the Madeira sauce, and in general, Valpolicella wines are going to be very heavy, going to be thick, and a little bit on the sweet side because of the sweet fruitiness of the grape varietals. So it really pairs very nicely, and it does, in my opinion, the wine does help kind of cut that weightiness of the food. It was paired with the 2017 La Polla, which is a IGT wine, and it's made with Corvina Veronese, which is why it cannot be labeled Valpolicella. It is made from the Valpolicella region, but because it does not meet the requirements of Valpolicella, it can't be called Valpolicella. It's called an IGT wine. But very interesting contrast with the last wine, which is not made 100% with Corvina. And again, I don't want to go into too much technicalities about the wines, but if you'd like to know more about the wines, then you can view my other video specifically on the wines that go into a little bit more detail, which I'll put at the end of this video and which will also be on my wine channel, Trophy Wine Hunter. And for last course, they chose to do a savory course, crema al parmigiano with balsamic di Modena and focaccia bread. I really like this idea because I think this would pair well with the wine rather than to kind of do a dish that's a total dessert that won't go with Valpolicella wines. So it's savory. It's kind of like a fondue, you could call it, or creme caramel, but it's a savory, Parmesan creme caramel. And I think it really works well with the wine pairing. It was paired with the Allegrini 2020 Amarone Classico DOCG. Amarone is going to be I think the highest alcohol and the sweetest of the wines from the Valpolicella region. Real intense black fruits, black cherries. The difference with Amarone and Valpolicella wines is the grapes here are kind of dried in the sun so that the flavors of the grapes are really concentrated, almost like molasses-like, and so that's why you have so much sweetness. But I really enjoyed the pairing, and I thought it was very thoughtful. Amarone is going to be very fruit forward, so it's going to have a lot of sweetness from the fruit, and that really it's still alcohol. It's not a dessert wine, so it will go very well with the crema al parmigiano. I ended the night with an Amaro, which is a bitter Italian herbal liqueur that's drunk mostly after a meal as a digestive. And they made it perfectly with a large block of ice and then a little twist of lemon. All in all, I thought it was a magnificent dinner, very thoughtful in terms of the wine pairings and the food. And the food really showed off the character of this restaurant. It really produces classic, authentic, rustic, home-style Italian food, as compared to, again, Il Caminetto, which is much, I think, a little bit more modern, a little more executive. This is really what you would see in Italian homes, and really hearty food. Really enjoyed the food. Hope you've enjoyed this review. Until next time, happy eating.